Hey, you down here? Okay, back with another live stream. I'm going to go back to working on my brand new 8 terabyte hard drive. I'm going to reformat it to either ext4 or maybe BTRFS. I think I'll do a quick look up and see. I used BTRFS before when it was a new thing, but Fedora was using it as their default file system for a while, and they changed, so it was supposed to be the up and coming thing, and it didn't. I'm gonna switch to this other camera, and there it is sitting up here on top of my TRS-80, and it's plugged into the NetPro Max down there, which is going to be my server. But right now, well, I used it yesterday to back up. I booted the Parted Magic and used Clonezilla to back up the hidden Windows partition that's on it. It's formatted NTFS, and so I wanted that hidden. If I was going to ever put it back, I need that hidden Windows partition. I tried to do both of them, but I don't think the other main partition worked. It might have been because it was too big, or but there's no data on it, so it doesn't make sense because Clonezilla doesn't make the backup images the size of the partition. It makes it the size of how much data is on there. So, well, I know, anyway, I'm going to kind of look at those. All that stuff's on the NetPro Max's hard drive. I need to copy it to this, and I haven't written to it yet, so that'll be a good chance to try it out before I reformat it. And then I'll stick it over here on my Lenovo i5 and copy it to my 5 terabyte Seagate backup drive that I've already had for over 2 years. So I looked at it. I think it just went out of warranty in the last. Bought it in September 2016, so I think it went out of warranty in September of this year, from what I understand. It's really weird, that warranty. Some things or conditions are 90 days, and some are 2 years. And if you're in Europe, it's all 2 years. It's a weird. I didn't even remember that. That's the weirdest thing I ever saw. So anyway, I know it doesn't matter. It's out of warranty either way. Let me check my stream. Make sure everything's good over there. Okay. Yeah, I had to restart my stream. I'll go to the desktop. This time I decided to wait. It started out yellow, and I decided to wait. Well, look, here's my speed. I checked it right after that. And, I mean, you can't get much better than that. Now, it's not quite that fast on some other testing sites, but, you know, it's going to be like 198 or something on probably one of the other ones I'll use. But it's still going to be about, it might be 10 up instead of 1148. But I got no problem with the uploads. What matters with streaming, you know. I got no problem with my upload speed. So, you know, YouTube streaming to YouTube might use 2 megabits, maybe. Probably not any more than that. And oh, here's the video I was making yesterday. I just had that open. Yeah, the hard drive is an STEB 80000100. What the heck of those long numbers, I can't do them well. And I backed up my partitions with Clonezilla. That's what I already said. So, what I think I'll do, let's see, what do I need to do first? Let's go ahead and switch to the wireless, because as soon as I start moving around, of course. Okay, let's get off the other one so we won't have the bad echo. As soon as I start moving around, you know, I can't use that SM58. So, I'm trying to wait. I know I'm sitting here. Well, you can see what I'm doing, can't you? I'm checking the sound, and I'm waiting for make sure the wireless mic is working. It's hard to tell because your stream is behind what you're doing by anywhere from 15 seconds to 30 seconds. It just changes all the time, so I never know where I'm at. Okay, so I've already got, like I said, I've already got it plugged in up here, and I didn't see no use in I showed it. If you wanted to see more about it in yesterday's video, I showed it in detail. So I'll leave it on camera too, and then if I decide I want to zoom in, I'd have to get back on here, but that's all right. Let's see, which one is it? Oh, it's the very last one. That's my, down under there's my KVM switch I'm always talking about, 4-port. I can have 4 machines plugged in and shared keyboard and a mouse. Now it looks like I got something on my glasses. Okay, so I've got my Fedora 28 USB stick in there, so I should be able to boot to that. And I'll go ahead and go into BIOS and make sure I'm going to boot to it. Guess I got it in time. Yep, there we go. Let's see. Okay, it sees the Seagate expansion drive on top. And of course it won't boot to that because there's no operating system on it. So we'll have to put the SanDisk cruiser pattern on top. Can't see any of that, but I guess I should have went ahead and zoomed in. I don't remember why I zoomed out. And then I don't remember why I zoomed out at the, I thought I had a good idea, but maybe it wasn't. I have to go back to my other machine. Let's see. Let's go ahead and do it now before I start the boot, and then you'll be able to see what's going on the screen a little bit at least. I don't have a better way to show. I mean, I could do remote desktop, but after I got it booted up, but it takes so much time, and half the time you get problems and it doesn't work right and all that stuff. That's why I had the browser open. That's the only reason I really had it open, so that I could zoom back in when I was ready to. Yeah, I do good to just get some things done. I just can't remember how to do all this fancy video switching. I keep saying that lately, I need a video crew. I need an AV crew. I used to be the AV crew I mixed sound for bands for about 12 years, and I worked on, I volunteered most of the time doing that, but I worked on some local cable TV shows too, running camera and stuff. Well, that's how I learned how to run a, not big, expensive camera. And they gave us a little class first to make sure we knew how not to break the cameras. Okay, now when I go over there, you'll at least have an idea of what it is I'm doing. Yeah, I'll do that so that. Yeah, that preview on the laptop's the only way I could get all this working. If you don't have a preview, you're in real trouble. Okay, now. So what I did, well, I've done it many times before, so I won't go through it again, but anyway, I'm going to hit Exit Save and Changes, and it should boot to my Fedora 28. I think it'll run okay. It's got Mate Desktop, a little much for that machine, but I was running it. What was I running it on? I was running it on something the other day that I was like, oh, hey, maybe it was this machine. It's like, hey, that works pretty good, surprisingly. And then I thought, maybe I ought to use that on the server. Okay, I don't need to test the media. It's been tested. So use the keyboard key to go up to the top and hit enter. Anyway, it should be perfect for, the reason I chose that instead of like Parted Magic on the CD again or whatever, is because it'll automatically mount all drives, the hard drive, the USB backup drive, and everything. So I'll be ready to go. And it's got, actually it doesn't, oh yeah, it's not going to have my favorite file manager. It's only got its file manager, but I'm not copying a lot. So on Parted Magic, I would at least have Midnight Commander and some other stuff like that I like better, twin panel file managers. But it's not, I don't think it'll matter on a small. One thing I don't like is KJ. Tends to fail on large, especially large file transfers, like anything over 3 GB. You'll be sitting there waiting forever, and then it'll fail. So I don't like using it, and plus it works just about like Windows Explorer, the original file manager, which I always had trouble with. As soon as I discovered Total Commander, Twin Panel File Manager, which was actually called Windows Commander back in those days, I bought it and started use that until I got into Linux, and then I discovered Crusader. They had another one called Genome something or other, twin panel, that I used first until I discovered Crusader. Okay, this is a live system, so I was fixing to type a password, but you just click on that. Some of them will go ahead and log in. I said it didn't do anything yet, but it may just be taking its time getting going. Yeah, there it goes. Some of them, they'll go ahead and automatically log in, and if you click it, it kind of hangs things up, and some of them you have to. I think you have to now on most of them. Linux and Debian, that's the two that I mess with most of the time. Well, that and Parted Magic, I still use that, even though it's 2013 was the last year they made it a free and open source version of it. It still works for the file partitioning and all that stuff so far. Gparted's pretty old on there now. It may get to where it don't work too good anymore. Before you know it. Yeah, there we go. We've got well, that little U3 system is the little Windows partition that's on my USB stick that I'm booted to. It's just a 2 GB. Booted to 4-door 28, and then that's my 8 TB expansion drive. So yeah, the only file manager, see, this is just, what the live version that you'd install from if you wanted to install, the mate version, mate desktop version. And I mean, that's one of the ways you can do it. It gives you a basic setup. So no other file managers, I don't think, but yeah, I was looking, but I wasn't paying a lot of attention. But yeah, there's no other file managers, so I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking, and then I remembered, yeah, there's no others. You can do one thing, I think, in this one. You can do extra pane, and so you can have twin panels, but it doesn't work like it does in. So if you click over here on that right side, that's the one I'm going to click on. And I'm going to put the expansion drive over there. Now see, it's already got some files on it, and I've already backed them up yesterday. That's the other thing you need to back up. Those files there, and I'll show them better on my desktop later. But you don't really need the whole partition because there's no MBR master boot record or anything on this. The master boot record, say that one time. The master boot record is a hidden partition, just like 128 megabytes. Let's see, where did I put that stuff? You know what? I think I put it right on the. Oh, I clicked on the wrong. I wasn't on the. That's one thing that's aggravating. See, I didn't want to change that one. What did happen? Okay, now we're back on the Seagate. Now I just wanted to go there. You got to click 3 times to get it to do anything over there. Yeah, I wasn't in. Yeah, I was in Parted Magic, so these folders weren't there. So I need to go to the whole file system, and I think it made folders right on the main. Oh, it's in root. That's where it is. Oh wait, there's no root. There was no root. I hope I didn't screw up. I'm gonna have to do that again. Or did I go ahead and put it on that backup drive? Now I'm got myself confused. I could have at the time done that. No, that's just part of the system. Yeah, they're not on there. I don't know why I didn't think of that at the time. Just going ahead and copying it yesterday. I guess because I was really tired. But, oh, I'm on the wrong drive on this side, I think. That is the file system for my live user, my live system. I need to go to 80 gigabyte volume. Now it mounted it. And that is the hard drive that's in the, I saw that in the list. That's what I want, right there. Okay, now, I'm going to copy everything over. And I think I'll make me another folder. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to make a folder for backups. Wait, yeah, do it. It's S-E, I never spell that right. I figured that out yesterday because I was searching for it and couldn't find it. It's not S-E-G-A-T-E, it's S-E-A-G-A-T-E. And if you look at something else once in a while, you'd see that. Seagate Backups, 8 terabyte. 8 terabyte Seagate USB drive. There we go. That's what I call it. I don't call it an expansion drive. I'm not that fancy. Okay, so I'm going to copy even the one. See, the first one there, half of it I may not need it, but I'm going to go ahead and keep it all for now. Now then, I selected it all and copied to other pane. So that's sort of, twin panel functionality there. And hopefully it'll all work good. There's no real big files or anything. And let's make sure it's all there. I'm not too comfortable about, like I said, about these file managers and whether or not I've had this thing fail on copies a lot of times. I think it's working a little slow because it's on an old slow machine. That's just NetProMax is a single core Celeron, 2.8 gigahertz, but it's just a single core, and it's a Celeron, which is the slowest processors I've ever used. And it's 2 gig of RAM, so it's not a heck of a lot of RAM either, but it's plenty for a server. On Fedora 28, I've already had it on there before it rang. And, well, I didn't have a GUI on it, but I'm not going to use a mate. I'm going to use XFCE. It's quite a bit lighter on the resource usage. Trying to find the actual image file. Make sure it's all there. I guess I'll look in that folder and see. Looks like it. I still don't see what I was looking for. I thought one of them was called img.img. Let's look in that other folder and see. I just want to make sure there's no progress bar, to tell you whether it's even finished or not. So I'm going to make sure it's finished. It's probably in there and I just don't see it. That's my problem. You click on it, double click, but it doesn't do anything. You got to do it again. I guess that's because it takes double click to activate the window, evidently. So, I think maybe this file manager just doesn't show things the way that, Crusader does. I'm going to try another copy and see if it says they're all there. Copy to, other pane. Now, it should say, do you want to override? It didn't. What has it done now? It copied some extra stuff or something. Is that because I was in another folder than what I thought I was in? Why am I confused? This is why I hate this file manager. I was in the... it doesn't work right. I'm telling you, it just don't work right. Yeah, I recopied everything, so, but I don't need all of that. Okay, delete you. Okay, now I'll get back in the folder that I'm on. Yeah, trying to be extra efficient, and I'm just getting myself in a mess here. Alright, I'm going to do it one more time. This time I'm in the same folders on both sides. Copy to other pane. Yeah. Okay. Oops, that ain't what I wanted. Okay, I'm going to say skip. Now, it shouldn't. Well, if it doesn't do anything this time, I should feel safe enough to figure it's done. Okay. It didn't do anything. You didn't see any kind of. I did see an IMG in there though, and that's what I was looking for, and I still don't see. I do not see a file named .img, I swear. There's stbddimg.aa. Maybe that's why I couldn't see it. Maybe it always had that .aa on the end and I didn't know it. Must be what it is. Okay, I think I've successfully backed them up now. All right. And it writes fast, just on here, just like it did on the the other one does on the Lenovo i5. That's you know, I never had any problem with the write speeds on them. So what I'm going to do now is copy all that over to the other drive, and then I can reformat the this drive. So nothing else to see. Runs all right. I'm interested. I don't know if I've ever booted this on here, so I'm going to open it. The web browser will tell you right quick what it can handle. So I'll open up Firefox and see how it does on. And what I had done, the 80 gig drive I had went ahead and formatted it FAT32, so I'd have something to write to yesterday, because you couldn't. You know, that's what I had in my head. You can't when you're backing up a drive. Well, you can't. You can't write to the drive you're backing up. And so I guess it just didn't dawn on me, well, hey, before I go. Well, I was so tired I was dying. I just had to quit, too, and I was starving to death. I guess that's why I didn't do it. But, excuse me, main reason. Well, it seems fairly well okay. Try to go to my website and see. I might have spelled it wrong. Let's see. Yep, sure did. I checked it. It was up a while ago. Oh, and yesterday, I guess it was. Yeah, during all this work, I tried to use I already had my Fedora 14 server up, you know, running as my web server. And I thought, well, maybe I'll use it to do the backups, because I thought it might have Clonezilla already on it. And I couldn't. I wanted to do it over remote desktop so I could make a good video. Well, I couldn't. It works okay. The Firefox, and it couldn't hook up to it. And so then I looked at it. I got on it like I'm doing now with the camera and all, you know, as far as the video goes. I mean, and I don't know why I'm looking through this. It's all the same thing. Let's see. Anything else? Anyway, I saw that I didn't have Clonezilla on there, so I said, well, forget it. Well, today, my Fedora 14 system, I noticed it had been running really loud, like it was working really hard for, I think, sometimes I hear it and sometimes I didn't, but I didn't want to mess with it at that time. I think it was a whole, since yesterday, maybe even the day before, I can't remember. And this morning I decided to get on it. I think I just decided to reboot it. Yeah, I decided to reboot it, just for good measure. And I also thought, it just seems like it's running too hard. You know, I can hear the fans. And I thought it was the desktop search app that I have on it, because it always makes it work hard when it's indexing. And I went to boot it, shut it down, and it said, Vino remote desktop server is hung up and won't. Do you want to shut it down anyway? And so I said no, and I went, you know, and I went and looked at the system monitor, and it was using like a whole bunch of CPU, and just working the machine real hard. And so I tried to force close it. Said it closed, but then when I went to shut it down after that, it was still said it was up and running. It was some other part of it, I guess. And so I just said shut it down anyway, and then I rebooted it, and now it's fine. Now I haven't tried to connect to the remote desktop, but for some reason that app was hung up, so that's why I couldn't connect to it. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't connect to it. I thought maybe it had something to do with it was right after first time I tried was right after I installed my new network switch, and I thought, well, is there something wrong that it's not going to work right with that? So anyway, I just wanted to mention that while I was thinking about it. And it was to do with yesterday's video. Let me think before I shut down. Am I done in here? I'll open up the expansion drive again. You can just double click on the icons, by the way. So now all these files, now I have these already backed up, but I'll go ahead and add these, the ones I just got, to the backup folder I have on my 5 terabyte drive, and then should have what I need. And plus I'll kind of go over things and make sure I'm doing what I think I'm, doing what I need to do before I reformat it. Okay, so now I've forgotten where the shutdown is. There we go, shutdown. So it did the job. I mean, you could use Make Desktop on this machine, evidently. But probably it would very shortly slow down a lot if you, like, the main thing you do is open up the web browser to do something, and that's the thing that works it the hardest. So, you can get over here on my Lenovo i5, the one I'm streaming with, and I guess we'll go to the desktop until we get ready to. Should have left the browser open, I guess. Well, I don't want too many apps open on this thing either. Working it too hard. I don't really need this open anymore. My video is being made, I think. And my backup video, I mean. I think if I restore previous session, I'll be right where I need to be. Yep. Okay. Now, I want to zoom back out. The zoom is not in the right place. It shows that it's not zoomed. I guess because that's weird. It shows to be okay. For some reason it wasn't. There we go. It works, but it wasn't showing what it should. It showed that it was not zoomed in when it was. Now, I think I will undarken that for now, so that it will probably, because I'm going to use it on wide shot. Now it'll look better. You can see stuff in the room and everything better. Now, what I'm going to do is do this. I'm going to plug, now that is the back of my Lenovo i5 over there on the right side. I guess it's right to you. Anyway, I was wondering yesterday, it's upside down, but that endoscope cam is impossible to turn the way you want it on that long 10-foot cable. The whole cable, it doesn't swivel anywhere, so, the whole cable has to be twisted and it'll just go back. So I quit fighting it anymore. I just let it go the way it wants to most of the time. Anyway. No blue in any of those USB ports, so you got those. I've got that's the bottom where my that's to my keyboard or to my KVM switch, which goes to my keyboard and mouse, and then got those other 3 I can use, and the ones in the front are all used up. The 5 terabytes in the front, along with the camera that I'm using. So I will get over here, get that out of the way. Over here and get this drive unplugged from the Net Pro Max, and I can't believe it's so hot today. Did I say how warm it was today? I think I did. It's well, it's 80.2 in my room with the window open, and I turned the air conditioner on and turned it on 76. It's 81 outside. So with these machines running and everything, and I don't dare turn it any lower because I'll freeze everybody else out in yonder. I would. Wouldn't hesitate. Okay, now. Ow! Cable got hung up. Let's try not to break anything. Okay, see, I got that speaker. That's not the only thing it's ever used for, but it's holding my cable down. That's where I set my bag with my camera that I don't want to break these cables, so I'm unplugging them before I do anything else. What I'm trying to say is this. I guess you can see it. The bag that has my camera 3 and my lapel mic plugged into it, that's how I do wireless. That's how I have a wireless mic. It's a lot cheaper than buying one. $10 for the mic, and I already have the camera. So let's see. I'm going to set this in here on top of my 5 terabyte drive. And there is legs on the bottom, so it won't make it overheat or anything. Actually, I think the vents are only in the front and back anyway, now that I think about it. But I won't plug it in until... I can go ahead and plug in the power supply, but I won't plug it into the drive until... I'm going to put me a... I don't know if you can see that, but I have an eraser that's just the right thickness to put under the... The way that thing is made, I didn't show it, I showed it yesterday. The way it's made, if you bump it, it'll try to unplug it. So, put something under it to keep it from doing that. Okay, now, I think I'll plug this in first and then plug it into the drive. Now, I won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I think I've been doing it by feel already, so should be able to do it. Just have to... Wait, actually, I think I can look. If I don't put that on, you know, bigger size, I think I can actually see. I can look around out of the corner of my eye and see that. That'll be helpful. I didn't think I'd be able to see it at all. It's a lot better than, yeah. See, I couldn't hardly get it plugged in yesterday because I couldn't see it, you know. That's all right, like that. Now we'll get this and plug it in. Make sure that other drive doesn't get loose. And all you got to do is sneeze at those dang Seagate plugs, those proprietary plugs, and they'll come out. Yeah, that was the right way. I won't go into all that again, my feelings on that, but in some ways it's a good idea, in some ways it's a bad idea. It's just that they're too short. If they just made them as long as a regular USB, then they wouldn't fall out like that. That's all they needed to do. And they wouldn't, and see the fact that they can wobble so easy, they wear out. It causes them to, I'm going to plug it in and it should cause it to mount on my machine. Okay. What I plug it in the power to it, I mean, that's what I was saying. Okay, let's get on the desktop. It hesitated, the machine did. I was like, uh-oh. I guess it was still working on mounting the drive. Now see the different size drives, I wasn't surprised because my 5 terabyte doesn't say, they don't say anything to identify, you know, them any further than it's a Seagate expansion drive. You don't know which one's 5 and which one's 8 terabyte until you get in there, I guess, in the file manager. I know because the top one is the 5 and I just plugged in the other one, and so it's the bottom one there. I know that. But anyway, it'd be nice if they'd have put something on there like Seagate 8 terabyte, Seagate 5 terabyte. They should be able to. I guess that would have more programming running in the background though, maybe. So they could do it, but I don't know. Maybe it would be just make it use more of your system resources. That would be possible. And of course, they do work on Linux, Windows, and then they work on Mac too. If you reformat them to the Mac file system. And so, by the way, yeah, that's not going to hurt your warranty to reformat the drive. That's actually what they tell you to do if you buy them, want to use them on a Mac, or evidently, I don't know, I've never messed with PlayStations and Xboxes, but one or the other, or both of them have different file systems that you have to format to if you're going to use them on there. People always, that's one of the first things you'll see in the reviews. Will it work on this? Will it work on that? You know, those particular things. Okay, desktop. Now, I think I'll get off this wireless mic because I tend to cough and make noises, and hopefully I won't be getting up and anymore for a while, and it'll be good. And okay, so here's our video. I always leave that on that folder because it's a cool thing about Crusader to me when a file's being written, you can watch it. Especially a thing that takes a while to write, like a video. You know, you can sit there and say it's still see that it's working. Except for when it gets to be really big, it starts. I guess it only gives so many number spaces, you know, and places, and so it doesn't. You can't just sit there and watch it when it's like over, like when it gets to be 2 gigabytes or 3. You have to wait like, I guess almost a minute or something, 30 seconds, to see the next number come up. All right, so on this side, I'm going to put the it's 4.5 terabyte. That's what it is. I think I don't know if I made that or they made that, but anyway, I know it instantly by the 4.5 terabyte. Let's see. Oh no, I want it over here. I'll just hit the equal, and then it'll be on both sides now. Where is my backup? Or did I put that backup on my? I put it on my machine. Just remembered. Yeah, I put it on my machine so that I'd make sure and have it. Let's do it that way. Yeah. That is, right there is the main files. Oh, I see. But it should be on the, oh, okay. I made a folder for main partition files. There we go. Now, let's get on the 7.3 terabyte. So it tells you that whatever it sees its actual size as. See, there you go. Crusader does what I was talking about. Okay, now we're on the 7.3, and you see the only all those files that I just showed over there, they're already backed up, so I don't need them again. Now, what I was saying is, these files that I've already backed up, those are on just an NTFS partition. There's no master boot record or anything in that. So I was going to back it up for good measure, but it didn't work. But so if I needed to, the whole point is in case I want to restore it back to the factory, you know, NTFS settings, I'll say, or formatting, then you need all these files, or it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in a Windows system without that start win here and probably some of these other files in here. And that has the, well, in that auto run INF. Of course, you don't have to have auto run INF, but then you could go on there and click execute, you know, or something, or mount it yourself by hand, you know, like in the command line or something. It might mount in Windows Explorer or something automatically. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it, but I mean without those files. I mean, I've tried it, but not without those files. But I don't have. When I first got the 5 terabyte drive, I had several Windows systems. So I thought, well, I can plug it right into them, you know, and back them up and stuff easy, and I did. But now, after I got another hit of, you know, infections I just reformatted them all. I don't have anything Windows except for, I'm tired of it, except for when my little Windows XP virtual machine, which still gets security updates until next year, and then I'll probably quit using it. I may try to use I've never had well, I can probably just barely run Windows 7 on this machine in the VM, maybe. That's what I'll have to try to do probably. Either that or build me a Windows machine, so you know, just use it for when I need Windows. It's really convenient having it in VM because then I don't have to mess around this way and that way to get, you know, to use it. I can just open it up in VirtualBox. But anyway, these files are already done. Let's make sure. Oh, that's the trash folder. I don't need that. Let's see. So yeah, all those files, synchronize selected. It's already on right to left. That's why I put them in that certain order. Okay, nothing to do. There we go. Now, this one is the one I just wrote, you know, with the backup images and stuff. I don't want it in that folder. I want it to be in its own folder. Now I can just do copy there because it's never been written. That didn't take long. But to make sure that I got everything, I'm going to do synchronize. Compare. Nothing to do. See, that's why I like Crusader. Okay, so now let's look at our images. This is this one that has the NTFS hidden. Well, it's not NTFS. It's something else. I forgot what it was. Something I wasn't familiar with. A new Windows thing, I guess. But it's got this is the hidden partition with the MBR, the master boot record, and everything. I saw that it backed all that up in Clonezilla. Now this is the first one I ran, and it had them both, the main partition and the hidden partition. And I got failure notices in there. And I don't know, is there any... Yeah, I don't think there's any of the logs in there. I didn't see an easy way to save the logs, but I did save screenshots, so let's open that up and look through them. Okay, here we go. Let's see what they say. This is screenshot imparted magic. So something went wrong. That was when I started. I better do screenshots. It's really tiny and hard to read. It's not much. Oh, make it bigger. There we go. Finished STB1. Starting STB2. Okay. Checking the disk space. Something went wrong. Okay. Well, what went wrong? Oh, I guess I have to go back to normal size in order to... Yeah, there we go. You slide it, you grab it and pull it around. It's different in this viewer. It says the partition in the image is broken, STB2. Yeah, okay. STB1 is the hidden partition. STB2 is the main one you write, your files to. Okay, this is the image to be checked. Okay. This is not a whole disk image. It is an image for some of the partitions saved. Yeah, because I did them 2 separate partitions instead of the whole disk. Okay, saved STB1 and STB2. Partition to be checked. This is the checking. Always run the check because you won't know. You might have an error and you don't know it. You'll have a bad, image written and you don't even know it if you don't run that check when you use FileZilla. It has the checker. Okay, first partition table found. Second partition found. Table found. Saved by GDisk found. Okay, checking MBR. MBR found. Checking the partition STB1. It was saved by DD. Partition image was not saved by... Now this threw me off. The partition image was not saved by part clone. This program only works for the partition image saved by part clone skip checking. What? Oh, DD. It doesn't. So it's. I don't. It's. I guess it's. I don't know why. It's just a side note. I guess. I guess it tries to use part clone, and then if it can, it uses DD. Is what I'm guessing. What I understand. Checking the partition STB2. Image magic error. This file is not part clone image. Okay. Part clone fail. Please check var log part clone. Yeah, I didn't get those logs. I probably should have tried, but I didn't. I'd had to go on to var log and then copy them, save them and look at them. I was needing to go by then. I was starting to feel bad. It was the thing. Because I'm diabetic and I have to go when I have to go. I have to go eat. And I had already waited too long, So press enter to continue. Okay. Now. I couldn't see this good enough, and I needed to quit anyway. So, now I think this might be after I went ahead and ran it again and only tried. Let's see, look at it. No, maybe not. Okay, not a whole disk. STB1, STB2, it may be the same basic information. Might have done 2 screenshots for some reason. Oh, because I hit next, that's why. Hit enter like it said, and then it went to the next screen. Okay, broken partition images were found, or some of them are not checkable in this image. Yeah, okay, so it's the second one, like I said, the second partition. Okay, now what do we got? At some point I'm going to get into, I'll know it'll say keeps moving on me. It will be on my second run of just the first partition to make sure I got that and can restore it. Because if you got one good one and one broken one in the same backup, I don't know how you could get just one and not the other. You know, trying to restore it. Trying to skip over all the... Checking the partition SW1. Saved by DD. The ImageMagick error. ImageMagick is one of the other programs that's using to do this. It's, well, evidently it's using ImageMagick, part clone, and DD, and or, you know. Part clone fail. Okay, broken part images were found. Okay. Okay, so it's kind of just the next page of the same errors, and then it says, okay, so anyway, the program is not started by Clonezilla server, so skip notifying it. The job is done, finished. Oh, okay, it's sort of like telling the program what to do, but telling you what's going on. Now syncing, flush file system buffers. Press enter to continue. Okay, now. Okay, this is the next run because I just renamed it to 21 instead of 20 on the end there. Image to be checked, and this is after it's already been backed up and now it's checking it. Not a whole disk image, the same information. MBR is found, checking. Saved by DD. Okay. Oh, this is a big screenshot here. Well, I still need to zoom in so I can read it. There we go. Well, I finally realized, why don't I make that full screen so I can get more get the whole readout? I think that's what happened. Because I'd just been leaving it small because you don't really need it full screen to run. It's kind of easier to read the instructions and what's going on in a smaller screen. Well, you see, I think there's going to be a lot of the previous stuff in there. Yeah, following the steps to save the hard disk image. See, that's the whole readout from that run. And I didn't mention it, but I don't see it. I'll show it in a minute. While you're running through the wizard to do this, you have to see the previous video to see exactly how to do it. It's a complicated thing to me, anyway, but it tells you how to do it. So, like me, it's been a year or two since I've ran it, so I had to go through and read every little word of all the instructions. But it tells you exactly what to do and how to do it. But there are a few gotchas that if you don't pay real good attention, you'll get errors. I learned that over the years, so I kind of had that in my head. Some of the important stuff kind of stuck with me. So it's talking about writing the image. It's only 134 megabytes. Microsoft expansion disk. Somewhere I think it did say what type of file system it had. And then it's going to write it to home part image 2018 11 28 21 IMG/IMG. That's probably why I kept looking for IMG. That's a folder, not a file name. I thought it was a file name at first. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. Yes, I do. And I'm not going to go through all, every little note. It's just telling you what's happening, which is good. This way you know what isn't working. It's one good thing about a CLI interface. Now, this is what I call a CLI interface. Some people call any, when you open up a command line and you type your commands and you never get anything but text. Well, actually, this is more like that with colored. But when you're running the program, it has graphics. It has colors and stuff kind of like if you remember DOS, the DOS graphics before Windows 3.1 came out. or if you're in Unix and you know what it is. Same thing with, you had the same stuff in Unix. But anyway, some programs are still like that. I think I'll look through some of that. Saving the primary GPT of SDB as so-and-so. Saving the second GPT. I don't know exactly what a secondary GPT. I do not remember what that is. I've used, imaging programs and test disk and a lot of programs for a lot of years, and I've saved a lot of lost partitions and stuff, and backed them up and restored them. And I used to use Ghost, Norton Ghost, before I got into Linux. But I don't remember a lot of the things. I may have learned at one time. Right now, anyway. It might come back to me in a minute or tomorrow. Saving home part image. And then that's where you think, oh, there's an error. This system is not supported by smart programs. EG. I don't know why they use EG. What does EG stand for? This should be IE, either or. That's what IE means, either or. Of course, it's IE. Or is it, IE? EI? It should be, either or should be ER. Oh, EO. Nobody ever uses that. They always use, all my life it was IE. And I always knew that meant either or. Now they're saying IG, and I don't know what I did. I guess I just rolled my mouse wheel. And I get it because of the context, but I have no clue as to what EG stands for. What words. Did it have an E.G. And what does that stand for? I'm just wondering. I guess I could go look it up, but I've never done it. I just like to whine about it when I see it. Part clone, part image. And I did. For some reason, that doesn't all show up. I wonder if my monitor is actually not. Sometimes you can turn it off and turn it back on, and it'll re-synchronize, sync it. But no, I think that's because Parted Magic was not set to the monitor right, and I didn't try to fix it because I could see I wasn't using full screen, for most of the time, and I didn't care. But what happened now? Oh, I didn't roll the mouse wheel that time. It just did that on its own. So anyway, that's just saying it can't part clone. It can't use part clone or part image, or NT. I remember that NTFS clone, or you force us to, use DD to save the file system. Microsoft DD will save and restore all the blocks in the hard drive, no matter if the block, and there's more to that. Okay. I think there's one more, maybe. Yeah. I think it just starts back over. I'm not sure. I'm out of page. I think I paged down to get more of the readout. I was trying to see if I could pick it back up where I left off. Well, let's forget about that. Let's just see if there's any more pertinent information to us here. Oh, no matter if the block is used or not. So it's saving every block, even if it's an empty block. So some these other smarter programs, that's what they're saying is they will know how to leave out the extra blocks. And maybe that's what happened to me here. Why my second one didn't work. I still don't know why it failed, but I think maybe it was too big. Oh, because, let's see. This will be very inefficient and take a very long time. Use this method to save the image instead of part clone, part image, and the NTFS clone, part clone, DD, and it's going to save it as a gzip. Image file will be split with size limit 2,000 megabytes to gigs. And if the action fails or hangs after several minutes, check is the disk full. In other words, it's gonna be really big that way. And so I think maybe what I was saying about it not saving it in its exact size, it only saves it the size of the data that's on the disk. That would be with the better programs. But here with the NTFS, I guess I did that a lot with my Linux systems. Did the NTFS too, but just don't remember
This, I don't remember this now. It's kind of news to me again or whatever. But so what I'm gathering is because of the way it had to work, I think it ran out of space and errored out before it filled up the drive on purpose or something. Like it was a sanity check, I guess. It saw that, you know, this is 8 terabytes and you're trying to write that to an 80 gig hard drive, so this ain't going to work. Error, you know. That's what I'm thinking. Could be wrong. I'm a novice at this, really, even though I've been doing it for quite a few years. I'm no expert. Okay. Tells some bytes and some stuff about the sizes of what? I'm not sure. Oh, of SDB1. Okay, so that's the one that worked. Yeah, 134 megabytes, and then it tells the block size. It tells everything, and that's block size is particular to the hard drive. Some hard drives actually don't use 512 bytes; they use other sizes. In test this, you can actually change the setup in your drive in the firmware, and sometimes I've fixed them, and other times I've broke them. And then they don't show up to any other Party Magic or any other program again, and you're screwed unless you could get it straightened out. And I figured out what it should be by the label, but the labels are confusing and hard to read. They're all different. There's no standard, you know. And so the last time I tried it, I broke one that was working. It just was not working right, and I completely broke it. Anyway, oh, it tells the write rate, 894.79 megabytes a minute. Syncing okay. Some of the white text is important, and some of the yellow is more important, and it's hard to tell. I like the yellow. It kind of tells me where to go sometimes, but I also tend to want to skip all the white and just read the yellow, and sometimes what I'm looking for is in the white. Finished. And I know this is probably redundant of what I've already seen, but I'm just going through what I got here. Checking the save image. It is if it's restorable. That's the thing. If it's not restorable and checked by, it doesn't pass the restorable check in Clonezilla program, then you're not gonna. You can be rest assured it's not gonna work, because I've tried it. I've kept them anyway and tried them, and of course usually I forget that I did that, and then I was like, what the heck? It's not working. Why not? You know. And then somehow I find something. I think there's files that are in there with it that can tell you that stuff. I think. I was looking through a few of them yesterday, and I didn't see that. But anyway, I saw a lot of information about the machine it was written on, which was odd to me. I mean, I didn't remember it doing that. Partition to be checked. Okay, some of this is the same information that we already went over. Okay, now I'll see if there's any more screenshots. One more. See what we got. Okay, some of the same stuff, and then same image. Yeah, that's not really any new information for us. Oh, this program will wrap around. This viewer wraps around to the first image, so at some point we're going to be back to where we started. Pay attention to that. I'm still on the second one. Okay. I've got my window open and the fan going, but boy, I feel the heat. That heat gets to me quick. I mean, well, going from yesterday, it was at night. It was, 35 or whatever, and then in the mornings it was staying 32 to 35 to 39 all the way up until noon. And the highs were 50s, and I saw a couple of days where highs were 60s and 70s, and now it's 80. So anyway, yeah, it feels like just smothering heat. Too quick of a change. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, I didn't go all the way to the bottom of that. Broken partition images were found. Some of them are not checkable. Oh.
wonder if it was, no? Alright, so that's not what I expected to see. Broken partition image was found. Some of them are not checkable, and that's in the, the same folder that my good one is in. I don't understand why that says that. And it says finished. Oh, it may be, I think what that sure does throw you off. That's the other, the smart programs, the other ones I was reading about a while ago, they couldn't do it. But the one that's DD, or Clone DD, or whatever the full name of it is, that one worked. Okay. For a minute I was thought, am I screwed after all? Oh, okay, well, whatever viewer I'm using, it's not wrapping around so good. That's actually, I prefer that. How do we get out of full screen? There we go. No, that's not how I wanted to do it. Oh, that's because I'm using GwenView, which is the one I like. Okay. I guess sometimes when I double click on a file, it opens GwenView, and sometimes it opens the other one that I have it set to. I guess I should just change it. It's driving me crazy. Let's do that right now. There's something that never has worked quite right, or done just what you want it to. Personal preferred applications. I thought it had finally started working right in 20, actually since about 23 maybe. But when I set my preferred programs, and see, I've got it set to image viewer, but sometimes it'll open up. Now, used to in Crusader that would not make a difference. You had to go into the KDE desktop settings to change that. Well, I don't even have the whole. I used to always install the full KDE desktop. I just never used it, and I would have all that. Well, I don't do that anymore because it's just more. It makes more things running in the background on your system, and I don't want that to slow my system down. So I'm going to put it back on GwenView. It takes forever to open. There's something wrong with GwenView. It's using up too much CPU, and it's taking forever to. Well, because of it, it's taking forever to open up and get where you can use it. But this time it worked good, and I didn't even notice it. But what's really weird is ever since I've been changing it, trying out different image viewers. See, there's a whole list there that I could try. Some of them wouldn't actually work, but suggestions, And that's what have I got here? Yeah, Kwrite. Okay. Okay, so mate terminal. Well, that's a good terminal. Okay, close. Okay, so now. So used to you had to go into the KDE settings. Well, I don't even have that available to me because I don't have the full KDE desktop, just what's needed to be able to run KDE apps like Crusader. But in at least about, I think either Fedora 23 or maybe it's when I jumped up to 28 when it started. When I set it to GwenView, it worked flawlessly. But when I set it to other ones, sometimes you open up one and it opens up in the default one. See, like now, the default is GwenView. Well, that's just the way it comes up. When you say right click and open with, it just comes up in that order. Might be alphabetical, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I. Yeah, it's alphabetical. But anyway, sometimes it would open with GwenView and sometimes it would open up with image viewer. So it's confusing. Now, I was thinking I wanted to, well, actually, I probably do want to delete this. That's why I was painstakingly going through that. I don't think I want that to confuse me because it's of no use. It's got both in there. Like if I look info packages, there's no error. Yeah, no error stuff in here. So let's go into the one that actually worked. 21 is the one that worked. Info packages, that's just a text file. I'll just look at that for a second. Oh, there's nothing really to see there. Nothing to see here. Okay, I know I opened one. I was opening a couple. Well, let's just open a couple of text files and see. Okay. Image was saved from the machine, so and so. It tells all about the machine. I know one or two of these files kept showing all the information about the machine. Let's say Intel Corporation. Something's Intel. It might be the motherboard in that thing. It's an IBM.
Yeah, it tells the video card and all that stuff. Somewhere I thought it showed IBM and all that, you know. Definitely talks about the motherboard, the video card, everything, all that stuff in the machine. Oh, LSHW, that's hardware lister. That's a hardware lister file. Huh. Desktop computer. So this is probably a whole hardware lister. Asus Tech. Yep, that's the motherboard. Oh yeah, that doesn't have. This is not the IBM. This is the Net Pro Max. That's what I did it on. Asus Tech motherboard. So I don't know what was IBM, but American Megatrends BIOS. 2.8 gigahertz Celeron CPU. You should say something about the memory. 2 gig. Gig is actually not GB, it's GIB. I haven't seen that as a thing on the internet, but I saw years ago somebody kept posting on blog posts, megabyte is not MB, it's MIB. And I was like, well, you idiot, you're wrong. Then I went and looked it up and they were right. But they kept posting it over and over, just being jackasses, you know. And what is the video card? I was just being curious now. So it ran a full figured maybe I could see the graphics card. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and go through this whole thing, see how long that is, but I did not know it did that. I mean, that's just happened along with the backup, you know. Let's see what's in this file. Oh, that's the one I just opened. Yank. Okay, now the next one is info DMI. All about what's supported and everything. It's another hardware support. Info DMI. It's a DMI. What's that stand for? Forgot. But that comes along with it, and it's not what I expected. I expected maybe the error logs and all that would be in there, but I don't. They're not in there. They put them in var. I think they put them in a temp file in var. So there's nothing to tell me that that didn't work. Oh, that's folder inside of a folder. I just realized. Okay, that one's not like that. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to make sure I'm in the right one. And delete it because I do not. At first I thought I would save it. Well, here's what we'll do. I will save it. It's not big. I'll save it for a while, but I'll put I'll put a note in the folder name saying, just do it like this. If I can find rename. Rename used to be over here with make directory and everything. They changed it. Yeah, just in case there's some, I get desperate and I might need something out of that, but there we go. Okay, now this will get backed up to the, next time I back up, I'll be backed up automatically to my 5 terabyte drive. Could go ahead and do it now, but, well, maybe I will. Let's go to the, wait. Okay, so now I'm going to put equal and make them in the same directories. There we go. Now let's go ahead and get on this drive. Oh, I see. That's why I couldn't find it because, okay, see, I was looking in there and didn't see it. Because it's going to be in the, I think it'll be in there. Lenovo i5. Home backup. maybe it didn't get backed up because of where I put it. Yeah, because those are all selected to back up those specifically because I wanted, yeah, that backups folder is a whole other thing. Oh, that's Fedora 23. There, backup Lenovo L5 Fedora 28, but it didn't get backed up. Oh, you see, I only put the dot folders in there. And then over here, documents, I did all, I said backup, you know, specific folders. So I didn't want the dot folders on the main drive, is what it is. So I need to back that up. I need to copy it over. What's this? Oh, that's the main partition files. Oh, okay. I see. Why has it got the same name? Oh, because that's just how I happen to do it. I need to rename that. Clonezilla. It's confusing. There we go. Clonezilla. And I guess I'll leave those. Yeah, those are screenshots about Clonezilla. So, and that's the main partition files. And I forgot to show you. Okay, when you're running Clonezilla, I said I would and I forgot. At some point in the it's a good idea to save this because at some point in the wizard, it gives you a command. It says if you need to rerun this, you can run this command, and I just copied and pasted it into a text file. And so right here, it tells what drives it's going to back up. Well, all I had to do, I copied and pasted it down there, and I deleted SDB2, ran it again, and got only SDB1. Saved me from going through that wizard again. It's been another 10, 20 minutes going through that wizard because it's slow going with lots and lots of reading. And unless you're doing it a lot, and you know, okay, next, you can do that. If you really remember it well. I used to be able to do that, but also sometimes I made mistakes trying to go too fast. So, yeah, save that. And it also says, it saves it into some temp file somewhere too. I noticed it at some point in there. And that would be fine too. You could just go copy that file over, you know, but it's simple to just, you can copy and paste out of that command line, you know, out of that command line there that you're working in into a text file. That's what I did. But, yeah, I know. This is always does, taking 10 times longer than it really needs to. But, I don't know. When I'm trying to show and tell, I just like to be efficient. Okay. Now, that would not have automatically backed up. I thought it had already backed up. Good thing I checked. So that would not have backed up. I will have to put that. I don't need to now because it's not going to be done again, but I would have to put that specifically into Lucky Backup. I probably should have just copied it, backed it up over here in the first place. I don't remember why. Oh, man, that drive might not have been plugged in at the time or something. I don't know. I don't actually remember now. So, why I decided. I guess I just thought that would be. I'd have 2 copies of it. I think that's why I did that. And I would not have if I hadn't realized I needed to double check. See, now it's it's just 1.4 gigabytes, but it's not moving very fast at all. So as it gets over a gigabyte, I guess it starts. But it's still working. Usually, I mean, there has been times when my backup file quit working. But now what do I want to do? Let's go back in there again so that I can. No, I don't need back in there again. Okay, so what I want to do is. I want to unmount this backup drive because I do not want to screw it up. I mean, they're the same name. You really have to pay attention, right? Oh, before I do that, well, let's unmount it right now so I don't forget. And make sure I'm getting all this right. Now let's go look in. Yeah, let's go make sure it's not mounted before I unplug the other one. Because it's not good to unplug them, just unplug them. It's not good in Windows either. Most people don't realize that. You can corrupt your drive, and with the NTFS drive, you can break it by doing that sometimes. It will happen. Okay, it still shows up in there, but yeah, it didn't open it up because I unmounted it. I hope it didn't it may have mounted it. It did, so that remounted it for me because I hadn't unplugged it yet. I forgot this Crusader will do that. Okay, this is the one that I might have forgot something that I wanted to do. Let's see. I have those files. Okay, now what was it? Something popped in my head. 4.5 terabyte backup main files. Oh yeah, you can't see that. Yeah, you can't see that. The only way I could see that hidden partition that I've SDB1 in this case in my Clonezilla images. Yeah, the best way to do it is to make an image, because you could go into gparted and tell it to be unhidden. Then you could see the files, and then you could copy the files over. But if you don't have the actual partition information, the MBR record, it won't work when you try to copy that. You could copy it back over there. You could sit there and manually make that particular partition in gparted. You could manually at SDB1, and you could manually then make whatever, the rest of it. But it will still not work right. You got to have that the right kind of MBR and everything, the right information in there. I mean, you might do it by just making a DOS MBR and making that partition and copying its files over, but Clonezilla is dependable, so I trust it enough to just use it. If I need to do that. So yeah. All right, now let me go back to unmounting that. Now I guess, yeah, I think it'll be in the same place. Let's unmount it. Now don't click on it this time. Let's click on the big one, and if it comes up and doesn't remount another directory, then we'll be good. Okay, or another drive. Okay, now I'm going to unplug the 5 terabyte. See why I said I really wish that it would tell you what it really is? You have to go in circles to make sure you don't screw up. I guess most people are not going to have two of them on the same machine at the same time, but hey, I'm not most people. Now am I? Okay. Now see, now it's 1.5 gigabyte on that video file. So I'm going to close it because I don't want a whole bunch of junk going. And what do you do if you do properties? Let's see if that will tell you. If you had, oh yeah, it'll start scanning the drive, I think. Oh well, it tells you how much data is on the contents, which this one doesn't have much, so you can figure that out. Oh, and right here it says 8 terabyte free, 369 megabyte used. That's how much files, those files that make it work right. There's files all over it to make it work. Sysfile system type Fuse, because Linux uses the application called Fuse to mount NTFS drives. It would, if it's in Windows, it would say NTFS. And then that stuff is, the permissions are, can't be determined, but they're read and write and execute everything. And I don't think you can change, well, you might be able to manually change them, but you wouldn't want to on a backup machine. It actually works good. There used to be a lot of trouble. I never liked backing up files off a Linux system onto an NTFS drive before, because it used to cause all kind of wreak havoc with the file permission stuff. They both work in different ways, and they just never work. When you copy it back off the NTFS, you'd have headaches. And most of the time it does all right. Now, if it's a system file in a root directory somewhere under the root, partition, you may have headaches. That might have been what went. Well, that was different. But I was editing when I was working on my DNS server, I did some remote editing on the config files, and ended up when the file permissions changed, and it wouldn't start up, the DNS server, the bind app. So now I want to format it, right? Now I showed yesterday I showed the partitions. I did it in some video. I don't know if it was on this thing. I went through all my different partition apps. I guess I did it yesterday before I went and plugged it into the NetPro Max. But so I don't think I'll open up all the other apps again. Oh, I really do want to make sure that ext4 is what I want. So as soon as this gets opened up, I'm going to close it right back down. Okay, so SDA is my partition, my hard drive of my machine. This is the backup drive, and this is the partition I'm talking about. And see, gparted says unknown. It's not quite sure what that is. And now see, it doesn't have any backup abilities or anything like that. But you could manage flags. That's what I was saying. Oh, MSFTRES. That's what it is. Never heard of that one. I do not know what that is. You could. Well, you wouldn't want to change that. So I thought maybe there. Oh, there it is. See, normally they say hidden. Normally, one of those kind of partitions, it usually is a NTFS or something, and it says checked as hidden. This one is MFSTRS. Now, maybe if you uncheck that, it might be readable, but maybe not, because gparted doesn't know what it is. Just because gparted doesn't know what it is doesn't mean Linux couldn't mount it, though. It still might be mountable, but I'm not going to, I just don't see any reason to do that, though. So, and then this one, NTFS, 7.28 terabyte. Now see that one of the other apps is 7.3 something terabytes. That sees it as 7.28. It's not always the same in every program that you open up. Oh, looky there, MSFT data. MSFT data. That would be something interesting to look up, but I'm not going to do it right now. But you know what? I should make screenshots of those, so that I can look it up later, because it'll be gone. I won't be able to see what that said. That is, I guess if I, oh, that's the other, yeah, we'll do that in a second. Information, oh, flags. So information, yeah, if I want to later look all that up. Now here's the information on the drive. File system unknown, 128 megabytes. See, it depends on what you're in as to what size it shows it up to be. I said that's what I remembered, 128. Well, it said 134 when I backed it up. Well, it might have been more because it got the might have been some stuff that was compressed that got uncompressed when I backed it up. I don't know. I know that the the master boot record is not 10 megabytes. I don't think. Didn't used to be. They used to be under they had to fit in a megabyte space. So, and by the way, see, it was in the backup program where it was mounted in that other machine. It was SD B1 and SDB2. Now, in here in this machine, because of how many drives are already mounted, that's how Linux works. It's SDC. See, so don't just think that's a static thing. It's not like Windows with A, B, C, D. It doesn't work that way. Unable to detect the file system and all that. So, and that now that means you couldn't do things like check and things like that, but you can delete them and reformat. It'll do that. So now this one, NTFS, see, it knows what that is. Used 352 megabyte, unused 7.28 terabytes. Everything's fine and dandy with NTFS. Okay, so now let's go and do a search. I don't think I have looked for anything about BT. Actually, I have. Is it BTR? Yeah, BTRFS. I'm going to open up my open up some of my old links first, I think. I don't have I never did import my bookmarks because they make Firefox make the machine run slow. As many as I don't know why it does that, but it does. So now I've got to where, and I don't like doing it this way because you can't search the file as well by using just search this page. You don't get the features that you do in the bookmarks section.
But now then, for instance, like I can do BTRFS, but if I want to do another word, I don't see it. There we go. If I want to do another word, see Fedora 15, we'll just open them as we find them. Resize BTRFS service failed. Kernel released with BTRFS. Still trying for BTRFS by default. Well, that's just kind of the latest. See, that was, they kept talking about it and saying how great it was going to be. Officially released. This is for Linux, all this. Okay. Comparison. Now that might be exactly what I'm looking for. Sometimes my my links can save me a lot of extra work, extra searching. You never find the same thing again, you know, in Google. So I've been using the links ever since it was favorites in, you know, Internet Explorer. Phoronix is a system resource testing and monitoring outfit that I tried to use recently, and I had errors getting it installed. Okay. 7 features BTRFS. Okay. It was supposed to handle bad sectors better than ext4 or anything, and I tried it out, and it actually, I think I had some problems with it, and I quit using it. And then they had it as the default. I remember in some Linux distros after 17, they had it as the default file system. Roll back to a working state with BTRFS. Yeah, it was supposed to have built-in snapshots or something. It was supposed to be the it was, and what is it they use in servers? Now I can't think. Anyway, you could, if you had you could roll back to a previous state. Let's just say that if something broke. I don't think it didn't work out as well as they thought it was going to. There we go. Beginner's Guide to BTRFS. It says BTRS is ready to rock. Well, Sue said that, and that was actually in 2012. Most likely. Well, yeah, because that's how I did my links. That was the day it came out, or the day I saw it. Okay, so we're on one I've already clicked on before, but that's still towards the bottom of the page. Now we're going back. Okay, so I'm going to close that because it tends to use a lot of resources. These are actually just links to articles. There we go. Beginner's Guide to BTRFS. That's probably what. I'm just going to save it like that. It's not actually a Linux file system, is it? I'm going to do that anyway so I can find it. I think it's not for any specific, it's not, I think you can put whatever operating system you want on there. Well, I mean, of the things that'll work. Where is the close all other tabs? Oh yeah, I didn't actually want to do that until, yeah, that'll be fine. These other ones, if I want to go to them, I'll go to them. But I don't want to use up too many close other tabs. I don't want to use that. That could actually really cause me some trouble running that for very long at all. while I'm streaming already, because as you can see, I'm already always using that 22 to 25% or so of my CPU as it is. And the browser is what will end up using up all your memory and your CPU sometimes. Telling just book any page. I used to, with certain types of pages, but now there's no telling what they got on them. And this is with a ABP AdBlock Plus running. They'll block most of the crap, the Flash and Java and all that. Beginner's Guide. Let's see. Covers creating and mounting file system, resizing. Yeah, we're supposed to be able to resize without losing data easily, like LVM. And I guess that's what they decided. They decided to continue. Now that they have LVM2 now, and I guess it works better than LVM1 did, or just LVM. And that's what they use now, is LVM2. And they put the ext4s inside of that in Fedora 28 and on. I know that much. I don't know when it started, because I skipped from 23 to 28. RAD, that's what I was trying to say, RAD levels. It can do RAD, it can do software RAD. In a server, it has hardware's equipment that makes a RAD, or a RAID. I call it RAD, it's really RAID, I think what you're supposed to say. So levels, creating subvolumes and snapshots using compression and other things. BTRF is still marked as experimental, but this is an old article. But those features make it very interesting. This is why I went and tried it out. And flexible, and I thought, boy, I can have all that, Let's see when this was. Don't tell me that doesn't have a date on the article. Maybe it's at the bottom. I don't know. Don't see a date, but obviously it's not still experimental. You just saw my links, some of them I went through. Ubuntu, and they're going to do this all in the command line. I can do that. I can make a BTRFS with I can do it with gparted. I've seen it in there. That's what made me think, hey, maybe I should try that. Okay, this is kind of telling me, and of course, the RAID stuff doesn't matter when you only got one drive. Well, maybe, I guess it kind of does, because I think you can set up RAID 1, 2, 3, or whatever. It just said something about RAID 5 in there. RAID levels. I think you can do it all on one drive. I think that was the other thing. Because the bad thing about the hardware RAID is, you use up a lot of drive space to use it. But see, for a backup drive, this would be perfect. Well, let's just say, like if I wanted to divide that 8 terabyte in half and have a software RAID, then I don't know that I can actually handle that. I probably need all the space that I've got, but if I could, then because guessing by what I already have on the 5 terabyte, you can, with a software RAID, then you could have real redundant backups. Of course, it's still just one drive, and that's the thing. If you're doing it on one drive, then that drive could fail. So the whole point of safety with the RAID is having it. Like I've been watching videos about servers that Guy Morton that does. It's really good and explains stuff in an easy way to understand and shows it. But he shows and tells. He does it on his servers and shows you. And that's how come I get it so well, better with him than reading all this stuff. He set up a RAID 5, and I've forgotten the details, but there's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts with those things. But anyway. I think you need 3 drives or maybe more to do a RAID 5. And then, I'm not going to try to explain it, but you've got redundant backups. You've got more. If you lose a drive, if one dies, then you're not dead. He had one die on the other video I saw just the other day, and he replaced the drive, and then it went and fixed it. It went and got the data from the other drives. So even if I'm just throwing, even if you were allowed to set up well, I don't think you could do a RAID 5, but if you could divide it up and to do whatever it is, RAID 2, 3, or whatever,
on a single drive in a software RAID, then you still wouldn't have, you still one drive, you still one piece of hardware that could fail, and that's the thing about hard drives, they can fail, and they do sometimes. This looks like a pretty good explanation of all of it, though, how to do it, telling you how to make the software RAIDs on BTRFS. So it's also pretty old. I'm sure all these principles and commands are still good, but anyway, yeah, this is what I thought. This is the kind of thing I thought you could do with this, and that's why I wanted to look at it. How to install RAID, install Fedora 15 on an encrypted BTRFS. Okay, that's a whole different thing. We're way past Fedora 15. Resize, now that's something I wanted to see. What year was this? I don't see the year again. Oh, 14, okay. Found some errors. Resize BTRFS, and you know what? I think this is around the time when I tried it out. Could have been a little later than that. Probably was. It was probably more like Fedora 20, 21, 22. But the resize failed, and that was the thing I was interested in, is being able to resize without losing data, because I'm always wanting to change what I'm doing with drives. Like I used to always, I hated to just have a backup drive. I wanted to have an operating system at the beginning, divided up in different enough partitions, and then the rest would be backup. Well, then I filled them up, and I ended up not wanting to use that that operating system anymore. And of course, I could change it to another operating system as long as it would fit in that, say, 25 gig space, but it got to the point where I needed space really bad, but I was scared I had no place to put my data while reformatting. And so I was scared to resize it with ext3 or 4 or in an LVM, or regular, not LVM2 like we have now, but LVM. Even though LVMs are supposed to do that, they warn you, back up first, back up first. And so I took the warning and I never tried it. So I've got like 4 drives or so in that Fedora 14, the red, black, Bible star, that have old operating systems at the beginning of my backup drives that I don't use, and I'd like to have that 25 or so gig of space to use. And well, now that I have this big drive, maybe I will actually back those things up to this big drive, all the backups that are on there, and and then I can do what I want with those drives. That might be what I'll do eventually, anyway. Said that when I got the 5 terabyte and I started seeing how fast I was filling it up, I changed my mind. I always have the backup video being made while I'm streaming, and sometimes I need it, something goes wrong, and I have to upload it, but I don't ever want to delete all my videos. Those are more important to me than most of my other files. And so that fills up drives fast. Okay, so this is, old enough that it's not pertinent right now. It's hopefully been fixed, but this is in 16. That's I thought I saw VTR. I thought this had BTRFS in here. There. XFS I wouldn't want. That's so that's just a tiny little blip in there about it in there. Now Phoronix is hard drive comparison. Oh, they're using Phoronix to compare. This might be helpful. When is it though? 2015. Well, it'd still tell you probably. That was something about ads. Oh, it's still about ads. So they compared the XT4, BTRFS, XFS, NTFS, and NILFS. I don't even know what that one is, and I've heard of RiserFS. He's got them laid out, don't he? Okay, here's a chart that can't hardly be read, but let's see. Will it get bigger if I click on it? Nope, won't even do that. Let's see. These are a different machine. Okay. Yeah, openbenchmarking.org for Onyx Test Suite. Okay, that's what this is. He used it to do the test. It's a pretty cool app, but I tried to install it on my server, I think, but I had all kinds of errors when it was IBM and 32-bit, and I think it might work okay in 64-bit. That's what I think. That's the end of his thing. So, well, I'm not getting the results portion. Is this all there is to it? I always thought there would be something more interesting in here than that. Let's see. It looks like it'll do something, but it won't. Unless it's trying to do something. Well, I don't see anything that I can read, so no results as far as I'm concerned. Red Hat 7 to feature BTRFS. Yeah, let's see. I think Red Hat 7 is the one that is where they're at right now, though. Gparted, open source partitionator, adds support for BTRFS. Now I'm just going to click to the article. Hopefully it'll go there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the folder. Sometimes those links quit working on that site. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Let's go to that other one first, too. I'm going to go ahead and get those links now before I forget. And go ahead and get the other one. Then we'll go back and look at them. Okay. Yeah, now we've got it. Roll back to a working state. Did I already look at that? No, I didn't. Okay. And Red Hat features. There's not really anything to that article. Gparted, now I know it supports it. It has for a while. Yeah, this is 2015. So that's just going to be like, okay, this is what it does now. When's this? I'm going to have to find something that's a little newer to. May have to go to Google after all. Yeah, this is for Ubuntu, so I'm not going to read every bit of that. I think you had to do it all on the command line. I think that was the one thing that I was not interested in, is that you didn't have a GUI for it. Just remember that. And by now, well, there may not, because there's just not as many they're not developing as many new graphical user interfaces as they used to. Linux in general. So there, check if it was successful. Okay, so that's all command line stuff, but so you could do it that way to roll back, and that makes me still think, do I want to do that? No rollback in there. Nothing about restore. So this is just, well, there's the what's on the page. Installing BTRFS tools, creating the file system. Doorbell ring. Actually scared me. I was like, what's that? It's probably a box, something we ordered. They usually take off just before you could even get out there, even if you wanted to go, and see them or talk to them or whatever. But there should be somebody else in the house to go to the door if they need to. Oh. What? Oh, okay. Well, guess what? I got medicine delivery. I got to go get it. Well, all I can do is go and stop this stream and then come back. So I'll go.